Hi guys, it's JB here with a football review. It's been quite a lively weekend in the world of football this weekend, and we've got plenty to talk about in the next 15-20 minutes, including Burnley, of course, staying up, which I'm going to touch on a little bit later on because I want to save that bit until last. But firstly, I want to congratulate Manchester City this evening because they are Premier League champions for 2000 and 2021. Deserved champions, in my opinion. I think they've done a remarkably good job this season. Pep said it's the hardest one of the lot, but I've got to say, they've earned it. I mean, yeah, Manchester United lost to Leicester tonight, which was a bit of a turn-up, but not surprisingly because they've got to play so many games in so many days because of the cancellation against Liverpool last week. But you've got to say it was a difficult task for them, obviously having to play twice in 48 hours. I think it took him out there. Soyuncu scoring the winning goal, which sends obviously Manchester United to defeat and Manchester City worthy champions. I mean, you can't argue with the fact that they've been champions. They've been champions for a long time. They just needed it confirmed. And I think they were worthy champions in the end because I think if you look at the way they played, I mean, you look over the course of the season, they've been streaks better than anybody else in the top 6 or 7. They play quality football. They're in the Champions League final. They've won the EFL Cup. The only blemish they'll say is they lost to Chelsea in the Cup semi-final, which was deserved. They didn't play well on the day. But they're on for a treble here, Manchester City. I don't think there's much doubt about that, and I think they could do it. With all due respect, they've got a chance, and as long as they've got that chance, then so be it. Of course, you can comment in the next 15 minutes on Manchester City being champions. But I have to say, I mean, over the season, they've been absolutely first rate. They were beaten for about 20 games. Funnily enough, Manchester United beat them to end that run. So, it's been, it's been great. But, they've got 2 trophies. One, they've got the EFL trophy that they've won. They've won the Premier League tonight. They haven't had to do it without kicking it. They haven't had to kick a ball to do it. So, and Puck saying it was the hardest of the lot. I thought he made it look dead easy. If he has, then, fair play to him. I think they've been they've been streets the better team. There's no question about it. And a superb performance. Elsewhere tonight, Southampton beat Crystal Palace in a game really that didn't matter. And there you go. But Manchester United losing to Leicester tonight, that is, it'll be a signal to all Manchester United fans, obviously, but delighting the blue half of Manchester. And United gave themselves too much to do, and I think their supporters should take a lot of the blame because, if that game against Liverpool doesn't get called off, they don't have to play twice in 48 hours. It's, so they've lost it. They've done it for themselves, really, Manchester United in some respects. But having said that, I think it was a question of time that City were going to be confirmed as champions, and worthy champions they are. They've done it over the course of 35 games. There's still 3 games to go, and it's and the only things left now to play for anybody in the Premier League is Europe, because everything else is settled. Because we're going to now move on to Burnley's result last night, and I'm still trying to pinch myself from this as we move on to this. Burnley 2, that's not right, hold on. We'll get that sorted out. It's not Burnley 2, Fulham 1. We got that completely wrong. I'm just gonna edit the scoreboard. It wasn't 2-1, it was Fulham 0, Burnley 2. I don't know where I got 2-1 from, but we'll put that right on the graphics. I don't know where we got that one wrong, but anyway, but it was Fulham 0, Burnley 2. I don't know where we got 2-1 from. There we go. Right, that's better. That's more like it. There we go. That's more like it. That's the scoreline it should be. I'm over. To be honest with you, I'm over the moon. Um, I'm over the moon. Great result for the Clarets last night. Bit backs at wall in the second half, but you know what? We earned it last night, and we've had some bad times this season, Burnley. Horrible defeats. What we should have won. We lost to West Ham last week when we should have done better. Our home form has been a bit of a letdown this year in terms of points chucked away. We've drawn a lot at home this year. But when you consider that we had 2 points in the first 7 games, we couldn't buy a win. Somehow we beat. I forget who we beat now. We beat Crystal Palace or Wolves or something like that at home, and the ball started rolling. I mean, we had victories at Anfield. We've had a victory at the Emirates. We've had a victory at Goodison Park. We've had some impressive results against Crystal Palace, Wolves, and Fulham yesterday on our travels. It has been unbelievable. And I'm glad Fulham are down because I have to say, no disrespect to any Fulham fans looking in. And I know my friend Barry Swain is a Fulham fan, and I don't want to slag his team off, but they didn't. Right, let's hark back to last season, shall we? Before I talk about Burnley's performance, let's talk about Fulham. Why I'm glad they're down. Firstly, they snuck in through the back door last year. They didn't deserve, on balance, to beat Brentford in the final. Brentford should have won that match, right? They were the better team. Not that I begrudge Fulham, but the best team didn't win, and I think Brentford would have graced the division far more than Fulham. Fulham are down because they're not good enough. And it showed last night. They had a few good chances against us to score. Dekakova Reid, he looks poor. Mitrovic doesn't look the player that he used to be at Newcastle. There were several things that just went wrong. The defence was all over the place. Why did he insist on playing out from the back? I will not know. But as a Burnley fan, I couldn't care less because it presented us with 2 goals. I think over I think the bottom 3 that have been relegated, I think deserve to be down. Sheffield United didn't invest enough in their squad. They didn't replace Dean Henderson, who kept them in a lot of games last season. No disrespect to Aaron Ramsdale, but I don't think he's at a good enough standard. And I don't know what went on at behind the scenes at Bramall Lane, but somewhat went on between the owners and previous manager Chris Wilder. It was going to be a tough job for Paul Heckingbottom, in fairness, but he did his best. He beat Brighton, but he just stayed off the inevitable, really. So, I'm not surprised they were down. But the funny thing is, they were in a lot of the games and just came out, the odd goal here, the odd goal there, and they came out the wrong side. And so they were a bit unlucky in some of the matches. But at the end of 35 games, the league table doesn't lie, does it? West Brom. I think West Brom, the problem they've got now is they're a bit of a yo-yo club. The owners don't know whether they're coming or going. I think they sacked Bilic a bit too late. They should have sacked him in October. But because they won against Liverpool or took a point against Liverpool or beat Manchester City, I don't know. But they got big results against those sides. He stayed on a bit longer. And I think Sam Allardyce, if he'd have had another couple of months, he may have had a chance to keep them in the Premier League. May. That's obviously not a guarantee, obviously. But, said all that, again, they deserve to get relegated. They just didn't do enough over the course. Obviously, the fitness levels weren't great when Sam Allardyce took over, and they were up against it despite bringing in decent players. They had a decent squad. I covered them a few times this season on the commentaries, and they didn't look a bad side, but they'd always come up short whenever I covered them. And and again, I'm not surprised that they're in the championship next year. As for Fulham, home form has been their failure. Any team that go up into the Premier League have to start winning games at home. You can't rely on picking up loads of points away from home. This has obviously been one of those seasons where fans haven't been in there. Would it have been different if Fulham had their supporters there? Possibly, possibly not. But 9 own goals at home this season is not good enough for a team that needs to stay up. Now, Scott Parker, I think, will be a brilliant manager. I hope he stays at Fulham because I don't think there's any other person than Scott Parker that can keep them or can get them back into the Premier League. They had a lot of blown E's as well, which didn't help, which hasn't helped the cause. So they'll lose about 5 or 6, 7 of those players, and obviously Scott Parker will try and keep the better players he has there permanently. But it's going to be a tough ask for Scott next season if he stays there. If he can get them back in there, he's a football man. He's a passionate guy. You could tell in his interview last night he was very, very visibly upset about it, and it's understandable. But over the course of 35 games, they don't deserve to stay in the Premier League. Cold hard fact. And a lot of people won't like, a lot of Fulham fans won't like what I'm saying there, but I'm just being honest. At Burnley, they could have had another 23 chances. They could have played for another 2 hours last night against us, and I don't think they would have scored because they just didn't have the belief, or they didn't have enough quality in the final third to trouble Burnley. Yes, they hit the bar and, one or two unfortunate things. Also, God, the wind's got up a little bit there. Also, they've had some sympathetic refereeing in recent weeks. They've got away with 1 or 2 bits and pieces against Arsenal. But at the end of the day, I think when you look at the cold light of day, they deserve to go down. Right, let's finally, for the last 10 minutes of the broadcast, let's quickly touch on Burnley's performance last night. Fantastic performance. First half, we were fantastic. It was a big game for us. Less so for us than for Fulham. Obviously, Fulham could ill afford to lose the game, obviously, because losing they're relegated, essentially. And we just played them off the park. The first half, we were just superb. We didn't give them a chance. We had a goal disallowed by the referee, David Q, who actually was, in the second half, wore a Fulham shirt. I thought he was poor, the referee. There were a few incidents, a few talking points, which I'll touch on. First half, I thought we were faultless. In every department, we were better than Fulham. First goal, Vidra works a miracle. He gets to the byline. He just about keeps the ball in. Goes down, bombs down the left-hand side, gets to the byline, just keeps the ball in, hooks it back. Araroa gets a little club, and he puts it into the path of Westford, who's got a simple tap in, 1-0 to the Clarets. And then Fulham shoot themselves in the foot on the second goal. They tried to play out from the back. They made a mess of the clearance. It fell very invitingly for Wood, and Wood smashed it in superbly, unstoppable shot, right foot into the top corner. It was a magnificent goal. Put us 2 up at half time. Second half, Fulham should have been down to 10 men. I'll make no apologies, but I think Araroa should have been sent off for a denial of the goal scoring opportunity. Ball goes over the top. I think Ben Mee plays it over the top, and Matty Vidra is through. If he goes past Araroa, I can't see it being stopped. He goes past Araroa, and he would have scored. Araroa stops it with his hand. Now, to me, that's a clear denial of the goal scoring opportunity. Now, David Koo obviously should have seen that and should have shown the red card. He didn't even give a free kick, which I was fuming about. But thankfully, it didn't cost us the match. There are several decisions he gave in Fulham's favour, but we have gone in there. Fulham laid siege for the last 20 minutes, but we were superb, and I don't think there's much doubt that we were the better side overall, and we deserve 3 points, and we deserve to send Fulham down, and we deserve to stay up. It moved us up to 14, but with Southampton winning now, Southampton I think, stay where they are anyway, despite that result. Or do they? No. Southampton will move up to 14th anyway. We'll drop to 15th, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's check the marking then. Nick Pope did okay. Wasn't duly tested really. I thought he played okay. To me, he gets a 7. He gets a 7. Nick Pope, magnificent. He didn't have to do much, but what he did well. Matt Lowton, I'll give him 6. In fact, no, I'll give him 7. He did really well. I thought he looked good down the right-hand side, right back. Didn't give too much away. Fantastic performance. Tarkowski, I'm going to give 8. I thought he was absolutely superb, along with Ben Mee as well. They both actually get 8. They get 8 each. So Pope and Mee and Tarkowski both get 8. Now we go into the midfield area. We'll start with Josh Brownhill. To say he's not a right winger, he actually had a very decent game. I'll give him 7. Did really well, looked very sharp. Ashley Westwood, goal scorer, worked very hard in the midfield, had a super match. He gets 8 for me. Jack Cork, I did all right. I wouldn't say it was his finest game in a claret shirt, but he did okay. I'll give him 7. And then we go to the strikers. We go to Dwight McNeil, sorry. Dwight McNeil. He did all right. There were flashes of brilliance, and he did really well, but I'll give him a 7. And then, obviously, Chris Wood, he had a super match yesterday when he was before he was substituted. I'm going to give him 9. He first of all, he worked tirelessly hard. Again, linked up well, and his goal was absolutely sensational. So, man of the match for me, Chris Wood. Matty Vidra did well as well. He gets a 7 as well. He worked very hard. Didn't score yesterday, but that doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter who gets the goals. It's the work rate and the team ethic that counts. And Vidra worked very, very hard. No reward for him personally, but his work rate and contribution to the team effort was cannot be ignored. And I thought it was superb. So he gets an 8. Wood gets 9, and consequently he's my man of the match. Substitutes, Rodriguez did okay, gets 6. Barnes didn't have much chance of making an impact, but he did okay when he came on and ruffled 1 or 2 favours. He gets 6. Team performance, Sean Dyche. I'm going to give Sean Dyche 10 because he played it beautifully tactically. Yes, he invited a lot of pressure from Fulham in the second half, but to be perfectly frank with you, I don't think they could have scored against us in a month for Sundays. It was that sort of a game, really. But tactically, we got it spot on. We got the 2-goal lead before the break. We sat on it. We could have gone and added a third, but we didn't need to in the end. We sat on our 2-goal lead, and we did it professionally. We did it well. So 10 out of 10 for Dyche. I thought that was one of his better tactical performances, and you can be assured of that. The team performance, again, you've got to give it 10 out of 10. Fantastic performance from everybody, from the goalkeeper to the strikers, the midfield. They worked very hard. So as a team, we attacked well in the first half, defended really well in the second half. We were just faultless, didn't make too many mistakes, which is, but it was difficult second half because we were playing against practically 12 men. I thought the referee was appallingly bad last night, and he's going to get 3. Purely and simply, he wasn't good enough, David Coope. He hasn't been good enough as a VAR official. He's not good enough as a referee. If he's FIFA approved, then I'm the Queen Mum, quite frankly, because, I mean, how do you spot a deliberate handball and a deliberate denial of a goal scoring opportunity? I don't want to moan because Burnley have won, so the decision didn't cost us in the end. But if it had been at 0-0 and the game was in the balance and Fulham had gone on and won it, it wouldn't have looked great, would it? And Araloa should have been sent off. I don't care if we're 2 up or 2 down. It would have been 2 up or 2-0 down at the time. But letter of the law says if he's playing through Vidra, and I'm sure he would have got past, if he'd have got past the goalkeeper, he would have made it 3-0. Right? I've no qualms about that at all. I've no doubts about that at all. And he's used his arm. He's done it on purpose. There's nothing accidental about it, and it should have been the colour of this hoodie. It should have been a red one. It should have been a red card. But it didn't matter. But David Coote does get a free. But to be quite honest, I'm absolutely thrilled to bits with the team effort, the team performance. And now we can go into the last 4 games. I think we've got 3 games to come now. We've got 2 at home, 1 at Sheffield United. We've got Leeds on Saturday lunchtime. Local bragging rights. We owe him for what happened on Boxing Day, between Christmas and New Year, rather, where he's conned us out of 3 points thanks to some iffy referee from Robert Jones. Hope we don't get him on Saturday, honestly. So we played them on cup final day. On the day of the cup final. We're not in the cup final, obviously, because Bournemouth knocked us out. And then Wednesday we play Liverpool, where 3,000 supporters are going to be at the turf. They're all season ticket holders. I won't be there, obviously, but Alan Pace, the chairman, what a gesture from him. All 3,500 tickets are being balloted, but they're going to be free of charge. So whoever gets the 3,500 tickets, they've got a real bit of gold dust. So there's going to be supporters at the turf for the first time in over a year, which is going to be great. Only 3,000, but there'll be a bit of an atmosphere a week tomorrow, or even a week today as we record this. Now it's a Wednesday. It's actually technically Wednesday morning. So a week today, we'll see fans at Turf Moor, and that'll be a great occasion. And then we finish off at Sheffield United on a week on Sunday. So I think we can relax in the next 3 games, knowing that our fate has been sorted out. We're a Premier League side for 6 years in a run, and you've got to say, testament to Sean Dyche. No investment from the previous chairman, whose name I love to mention. He's had probably the smallest squad that he's had for such a long time, but yet still with the players that he has at his disposal, we've had horrendous injuries, we've had lots of bad luck, we've had some iffy refereeing go against us in a lot of the games, but yet we've risen above it and we've stayed up, with 3 games to spare. It's amazing. 39 points. One more, I'll take 42 this season. But one thing I do want to see from Alan Pace is investment. First of all, we've got to keep Dyche. We've got to get him on a new long-term contract so that we get scare off people like Crystal Palace. I heard some ridiculous rumour on TalkSport that he should be going to Tottenham Hotspur. So I don't know what Simon Jordan was going on about. Sorry, but Dyche, I'm not sure would do a good job at Tottenham like he's done for Burnley. It's a big club. It's a massive club. He's managing big egos. Could be good. Could be tough. I think he should stay where he is. Dyche and Burnley go together like bacon and eggs. I don't want him to leave for any club. And, but there will come a day when he will leave. But hopefully he'll leave with the blessings of everybody to do with Burnley fans, everybody. But it's going to be a tough act to follow whoever follows in there. But I'm hoping that Alan Pace will do the right thing, do whatever it takes to get him on a contract and make sure that he's back throughout the summer, because if Dyche is back with some serious funds from Mr. Pace, then there's no doubt at all, I think, that they'll do that will do really good damage in the transfer window. We've been linked with a few players. But this is a real testing summer now for us. If we can get 4 or 5 quality players, we may have to sell Tarkowski, of course, because he wants to move on. He wants to go to a bigger club. And then if that's the case, then good luck to him. He's earned his move. He's done really well for us over the last 5 years. And no one will stand in his way if that's the case. But I'm very, very confident that Burnley will do much better next season. But it's just a relief to see us stay up. And yes, I've got to convince myself this actually happened, and I'm not dreaming, and I'm going to wake up and say it was all a bad dream. It's not. It's actually reality. We are a Premier League club, 6 years running. This is amazing, and it's all down to the manager. And Mr. Pace knows what he has to do. Tie him down to a new contract. You know it makes sense. Right, thank you very much to everybody that's watched. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Hopefully we'll be back soon with more football-related stuff. But have a fantastic rest of your week, and we'll see you very soon here on JB Sports. Until now, from me, JB, take care, and up the Clarets. See you all soon. Ta-ra. Bye-bye. Ta-ra.